had to sit down for this one. Usually I'm ranting over by there in my kitchen. And for this one, again, I got to chill out because there's a lot going on here and I need to concentrate. So anyway, this week you probably heard from the Microsoft Corporation that they have initiated a quantum leap in quantum computing. And they claim that they could scrunch potentially as many as 1 million qubits onto a little chip. Now, what does this mean? Quantum computing is based on a qubit in an analogous way that traditional computing is based on a bit. And traditional computing uses transistors to create a state which is either 0 or 1. All of computing is binary in the sense that you're connecting these transistors that can have a state of either 0 or 1. It's either off or it's on, and it creates a gate. And when electricity flows through these computer chips, then it's going through all these pathways. Literally, that's why those chips look like kind of suburban American maps from above, with all the roads and the houses. It's a flow of electricity that goes through a chip. And these gates, 0 or 1, are on or off. And the control of the electricity runs our computers. Now, is it a little bit more complicated than that? Yeah. But the essential principle is 0 or 1, on or off, computer chips, traditional computing, the von Neumann machine, after John von Neumann, who, by the way, had my mom's math teacher in Hungary. And apparently this math teacher, who was John von Neumann's math teacher, same dude, said that Johnny was a very, very smart boy. Indeed he was. Anyway, I digress. Lucky I'm seated. John von Neumann's idea, what we call the von Neumann machine, is based on computers that are 0 and 1. Okay? Now, a quantum computer takes advantage of what's called a superpositional state. And the essence of quantum mechanics is that you can't measure the position and momentum of a particle at the same time. What this translates to is that when things are really, 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 really small, they don't really exist like objects that we're familiar with a physical location. There's a probability that something can be literally here or there. My finger, there's a 100% chance. Look, I picked this finger. It's a 100% chance that this finger is here, right? Here it is. But in the quantum realm, my finger, it's lucky I chose this finger, right? This finger, there's, let's say, a 30% chance it's over here, 80% chance it's here, and then only a 5% chance it's there. But it's never in a place. There's just a probability distribution of my finger being in these places. Once you observe my finger in this setting, it locks into a position, and then it becomes 100% located here or there. Now, this is a long way of describing, in a very simple way, that quantum computers are not this 0 or this 1, but they're a superpositional state that is 0 or 1 or everything in between. You see what I did there? My finger is here, it's here, it's here. That's like the quantum state of one of these qubits. It's a bit in traditional computing. A qubit, a quantum bit, is not 0 or 1, not on or off, but maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe there. And then when you measure it, what happens is what they call the waveform collapses, which is my finger, which had a probability distribution, automatically is in one of these states. And then you measure, you get a number that comes out. Now, why is this good for computing? Well, it's good for computing because if you have a series of just 0 or 1 gates, there's only so much that you can calculate so quickly with electricity streaming through all of these gates. But if you have a quantum computer, where instead of these 0 or 1 gates, there's this probability distribution, the electricity, in a sense, flows all over the fucking place in all of these different permutations that you would otherwise need a long time to traverse, if that makes any sense. And if you have a bunch of these qubits on a chip, analogous to having a bunch of those transistors on a regular computer, then you can do amazing calculations that would take, as they say, the age of the universe. Every computer on Earth cranking for the age of the universe, you could plug it into one of these quantum chips, and it goes hauling ass through there, through all these dimensions, if you will, of pathways, and boom, you measure it, and boom, you get your result. Now, that's the promise of quantum computing. The tough part here is that these superpositional states are quantum states. So they're small, but they're also very unstable. So these quantum chips are usually a couple hundred degrees below 0, so you don't get interference, what they call noise, which leads to error. And that's problem number 1 in quantum computing. Now, IBM announced, I think a month or two ago, that the curve you plot for number of qubits and the growth of error, like the more of something you have, the more mistakes can be made, and another oversimplified example. But they plotted the curve and they thought that this curve was exponential, that the more qubits you get, the more errors you get. And then IBM realized that it's more arithmetic, which means that it levels off. And that was a huge development. That implied that you could pack more and more of these qubits together and the errors aren't going to get completely out of control. So the whole industry was like, wowie zowie. All of a sudden, billions more came to invest in quantum computing. But it still begged the question of the errors being at the rate that they're at. And it also begged the question that so far, the most sophisticated quantum computers only have like 100 or so of these qubits. That's not very much. It's like 100 transistors. What the fuck are you going to do with that? So here, long story longer, that's why I'm seated. I don't know if you're still tracking, but the majorana1 announcement from Microsoft this week is significant because they took a whole new approach to this quantum computing stuff. A topographical approach to quantum computing is one where how you arrange these qubits, how you structure them, like you braid them in the nomenclature, is a new way of doing the signaling, and it's a way that significantly reduces these errors that you get, usually with the standard qubit. And Microsoft not only did a topographical approach to qubitting, but they initiated a process from 1937, with the physicist's name thereof, that a particle could be its own antiparticle. And they created a new alloy with metals, very much like a semiconductor. But this semiconductor, in a certain state, will induce this quality that results in their ability to reduce error in a really significant way. Now, long story even longer, what this means for quantum computing is you could technically pack all those qubits onto a chip like never before. But here's where I kind of call bullshit. It begs the question of, even if you have 1 million of these qubits, you got to program the thing in a way that they haven't really gotten down yet to work on problems that are applicable to what we use the regular computers for. Right now, there's sophisticated algorithms, and you could set up a quantum computer to really answer only one kind of problem. Computers, by their nature, are these Turing machines that could solve any calculation that you put into them. Quantum computers aren't like that. They need to be set up for particular calculations. The other area where I kind of call bullshit is, it's from what I can tell from this paper and from reading other stuff, is that this majorana state that they're claiming is still contested. You might be able to conclude that this alloy that they've created isn't actually creating that state that the physicists described in 1937. That's one. And even if it does it, so far they only got eight, not 1 million, they only got 8 on that chip. So in summary, I have gone for 10 minutes. This is epic in terms of, my bloviating and your patience if you've made it this far. Microsoft's claim that they have revolutionized quantum computing is, I think, partially true. Just being able to pull off what they did is impressive, but its applicability to fulfilling this claim of 1 million qubits on a chip is still TBD. They only got 8 on this one. The other thing is, when you keep adding these qubits, even if it's fancy Majorana-style topographical kind of technology, you still need to cool the motherfucker to like 200 below zero. They haven't circumvented that problem. And then lastly, even if you got the 1 million qubits on a chip, there's other things that have to happen in quantum computing to actually make it practical, to make it a consumer level kind of product. So when you put a bow on all of this, it's one of those announcements that could be sort of maybe lead to something fucking-normous. But even if everything's true about all their claims, this giant fucking-normous quantum supremacy, quantum leap, is still not going to happen for quite some time, probably years. And lastly, the downside of this further is it keeps fueling the hype that quantum computing is changing the world. But look, there's my kitchen, there's me. It's pretty much going to be same old, at least vis-a-vis quantum computing, for years to come. So are you going to invest in quantum computing? I don't know. You're probably better off investing in AI. And my opinion is we're going to get an artificial general intelligence faster than we're going to actually get a serviceable, practical quantum computer that actually could perform the same functions, the same flexibility of a regular computer. But we'll see. Thanks for watching. Now I'm going to either pass out or go swimming.